and rose again. May our collective victories reign forever. Even if her first step was unsteady, she still walked intentionally toward her truths. Even when things were hard, disappointments everywhere, she clung to her faith in herself and her capabilities. Where she stood now was her proof. With every chance she was able to look back at seeds planted from her new level, there was glory in what fruits had sprouted because of her journey, and no traces of fear from the dark days' devils. A magnificent masterpiece she had built from the ground up. After forced demolitions, one-sided coercions, resiliently she stood because one thing mattered after her world crumbled. That was the faith she had and where she placed it. Though she was reduced to servant, she remained faithful in her service. Being reduced to an object of desire, she remained faithful in keeping a heart that was desirable. Though her emotions were expressed, it seemed they always were mislabeled and misunderstood, but she felt them anyways and put all misperceived interpretations in her back pocket for later good. She's more than a mother. She's more than a mammy. She's more than a burial ground for others' mixed emotions. A steady fire had burned in her soul, and for every night she whispered to her fire, "Be gentle." Tonight, she stood ready to let her fire roam. In the land of misconceptions where we suggest the woman take a back seat, I and others like me stand defiant. Our alchemy you must see. We've led wars as warriors, rightfully and respected true queens. We sat at the feet of our conquerors, and even then, our raw heritage, our natural beauty, seen as something to glean. Who stood at the sides of men during political warfare? Those of us who had to become mother and father as men chose to chase wars that were or were not theirs. Who cries for retribution as we mourn those who look like us, look just like us before they rest 6 feet deep? Who rises the next day as if the fell justice doesn't matter, as if the entire night before she didn't weep? We stand today as senators, first ladies, and those unabashed in the entirety of our truths. Women who learn the true stories and then reach back to save the youth. As much as we are misportrayed, how we recover when our characters are constantly mistook. There's an undying love for the woman, and I might add, I think God is a black woman. I hope that sentiment leaves you shook. Because when I look into the eyes of these timeless women, I see stories of magnificence weaved into a root at my feet. I stand in admiration of this tree of knowledge, every story in its leaves reverberating. We do not accept defeat. I honor the woman in all of